whether they are still in service or out of service, is immaterial by the provisions of all laws enabling on financial matters. They are the ones that will have to answer to this monumental infraction of financial regulations, waste of public funds, and brazen act of corruption, which the ministry has itself refused to defend, obviously because they had no defense to make. So I'm just responding to that the ministers are, yeah, they are the political head of ministries, but they are not the accounting officers.
Yeah, but Mr. Chairman, when the Parliament writes any whether the right. So for me, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you have written final notice to all of them.
We have written more than final. We have written 7 times, sir.
It to be personal. We are dealing with an institution, and we are also an institution of the government by the Constitution. And I think we should trade along that way of authority. This assembly have its authority, and we should enforce it. Whoever is there, let them respond based on the Constitution. Least we breach our rules by thinking we know anybody there or somebody there was our colleague. So I think we should handle this based on the rules of law.
Thank you very much, honorable colleagues. Gone through administrative process by the Auditor General itself. But the Constitution, in its wisdom, just decided that it should not be very neat for the Auditor General to be the alpha and the omega on this matter. That's why the Constitution says he must submit the report to the National Assembly, which refers it to the Public Account Committee, which is constitutional. And the recommendations are there, and whenever the Auditor General makes those recommendations, he cites the relevant sections or paragraphs or the financial regulation or any other law that has been violated. So I'll just put the question, honorable colleagues, so that we can move on. If the decision of this committee is that the Auditor General's query issued against the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment for the year ended 31 December 2020 on 17 major heads be sustained as presented by the Auditor General. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. By this implication, we sustain all the recommendations of the Auditor General and direct the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Labor and Employment for the year 2015-2019, Mr. William Nwankwo-Alo, and the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Yerima Peter Tarfa, 2020-2021, to answer questions on the expenditure of the various sums of money totaling almost 10 billion naira, which the Auditor General found against the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment in those years. Honorable colleagues, that's for the 2020 Auditor General's report. Now there is a 2021 Auditor General's report which also contains audit queries against the ministry. But for the purpose of giving them a long rope to pull, as they say, we have only written once on 2021. But even that once, the ministry has failed to respond or to make an appearance. And I want to suggest, if the committee wishes, that maybe we give the current permanent secretary a definite timeline to make appearance on 2021, or we apply the same measure that we adopted on 2020 to those matters. I need honorable members' comments on that, please. Honorable Basi Akiba.
And having also been aware of what you have just said, because as a member of the committee, I'm aware of all of that. I'm of the opinion that the ministry should be written to for 2021. I'm of the opinion that it should be written again to for 2021, because even with
how many, what kind of time frame?
It should be. We've written to them once that they have not caused appearance. They've not. So I am thinking that we should write to them again, re-inviting them again to, cause appearance on 2021 query. I say something. Thank you.
2020, and now that 7 times, and now that we have written for 2021, 1 time, we should give them 72 hours to be here in appearance before this committee to defend this, the infractions and questions against them. I so submit, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Saliu A. Usman be given 72 hours to cause appearance before this constitutional committee to defend the audit query for 2021, and including improper classification of revenue, under deduction of withholding tax, unauthorized conversion of government properties to personal use, circumvention of procurement procedures, splitting of advances to circumvent approval threshold of the permanent secretary, as well as engagement of external solicitors without approval of the Office of the Attorney General for the Federation. These are some of the issues contained in 2021, just to put it in context. So if it is the opinion of the House that Dr. Saliu Usman, current Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Employment, be given 72 hours to cause appearance to defend 2021 audit query, those in favor should say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. By this resolution, we are extending the opportunity for fair hearing to the current Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Employment, to defend 7 major audit queries raised by the General for the Federation against his office in the 2021 audit report. Honorable colleagues, the other ministry to which I also is the Federal Ministry of Transport, that is also meant to appear today. The Federal Ministry of Transport is meant to appear today on the 2021 Auditor General's reports, where they have 5 audit queries. The first one is the failure to provide relevant records for the audit of personnel, which cost 1 billion naira. The Auditor General found out that the ministry expended is not 1 billion naira on audit of personnel and did not provide record to justify the expenditure. The second one is that the ministry transferred a sum of 400 million naira to Nexim Bank without lawful reasons and without supporting documents, 400 million naira. The third one alleges that there is a payment for training without supporting documents, totaling about 900 million naira. Payment for overseas trip without approval, 68 million naira, as well as award of contract without due process. Those are the 5 issues which the Auditor General has cited against the Federal Ministry of Transport in 2021. The ministry has been written twice to come and defend, and they have not made appearance nor sent in any justification. Honorable colleague, I want the committee to take a decision on this, please.
Secretaries and parastatals should always respond to invitations by the House. It seems that when first, second, and third invitations are sent and they are either grossly neglected or no attention is paid to them, it seems that not only are they violating the rules as set out in the order book and in the Constitution, they are also disobeying the President. Therefore, Chairman, I move that the Ministry of Transport and whoever are the people responsible for their management be summoned before the House Committee on Public Accounts to answer to the queries and show cause why the queries should not be held against them.
Should we adopt the same 72 hours that we gave someone earlier on?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I move for 72 hours.
Please. Yes,
I'm an old man from Imo State. Mr. Chairman, I think we need to toe the same line. Taking into consideration that we're giving this invitation twice, Mr. Chairman, I move that we... Mr. Chairman, I move that we give them 72 hours to appear before this committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Before Women Affairs, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs has 5 audit queries. Payment without relevant supporting document, 222,207,000. Payment for foreign travels without approval, 15.2 million naira. Cash advances above approved threshold, 9,523,500 naira. Circumvention of procurement procedures and granting of cash advances above threshold, 281,885,800 naira, as well as unretired cash advances of 216,541,000 naira. That's the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. And the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, 6 queries. And I want to quickly just read them out. Payment of programs not executed on homegrown school feeding program, 2,617,090,786 naira. Donations without supporting document to the tune of 39.5 million naira. Unjustified payment to contractors, 287,628,300 naira. Irregular payment of stipend to N-Power beneficiaries, batch C, 54,630 million naira. Emergency procurement without retrospective approval, 78.3 million. And irregular payment to independent monitors of the National Social Investment Program of 400 million naira. These are the 6 issues that have to do. So I would just want to ask whether we can take the 3 together and extend the same further invitation, albeit an ultimatum, to the 3 permanent secretaries. Is that carried? All right. Honorable colleagues, so those in favor of the motion that the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Transport, Mr. Adeleye Adeoye Ayodeji, the Federal Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Dr. Miriam Keshiro, and the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Yakubu Adam Kofal Mata, be given 72 hours to make appearance before this constitutional committee. Otherwise, we adopt the recommendation of the General for the Federation. Those in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. By this resolution, we are extending the benefit of the doubt and further opportunity for fair hearing to these 3 accounting officers of the Federal Ministries of Transport, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, and Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation to appear before this committee within 72 hours. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and uphold all the recommendations of the General for the Federation contained in this very important document. Thank you. Ensure that before the 2022 Auditor General's report comes in the month of April-May, as promised by the General, we complete consideration of 2020 and 2021. And you will recall, for those who were opportune to go on some of these foreign trips with us, when we went to Rwanda, Ghana, and Nairobi, you know, we felt a little bit embarrassed that Nigeria, which is the biggest economy in Africa, one of the most populous countries in the world, is the one that is lagging behind in the construction of the General's report. Some of those countries were already doing 2024. They were doing 2023, 2024. We are still doing 2020 and 2021. And these are the things that cause all this. When MDAs refuse to honor invitation, they refuse to submit documents. We can't, you know, conjure documents or answers for them. And I'm very sure that by the time we take this route now, probably to be a wake-up call for them. Tomorrow is another day. We have about 4 or 5 other agencies we're expecting tomorrow.